Now, as Rwanda marks the commemoration of the 1994 genocide this week, there are questions about the incumbent president, Paul Kagame's role in any atrocities. Kagame's rebel forces helped end the genocide, and he's been hailed as a hero. He has since become one of Africa's longest-serving leaders. But last night on this show, we discussed claims that he may have helped kickstart the genocide by being involved in the death of the former president. The mass killing of mostly ethnic Tutsis by the majority Hutus was sparked by the assassination of the president, Juvenal Habyarimana. More than 800,000 ethnic Tutsis, remember, and moderate Hutus were killed in a period of just 100 days. The Rwandan Ambassador in South Africa, Vincent Karega, would like to respond. Firstly, let's listen to what we spoke about last night. I was in conversation with Isaac Komo from the African Channel.
You see, the bringing down of the plane, it triggered the genocide. There's no doubt about that. And for a long time, the narrative was this, that the plane was put down by Hutu extremists. But now that the RPF, which was a solid group, it has divided. You've got RPF former officers who were in exile.
So let's just clarify, the Rwandan Patriotic Front, which is Kagame's party.
Which is Kagame's party, which is basically a Tutsi-dominated party. Yeah. Now, some of them are in exile, and these are senior army officers, people like Nyamwasa. Now, these people have said it openly, that the plane was shot down by the RPF. Nyamwasa said that he was in charge at the airport and that he actually sort of was instrumental in actually bringing the plane down. But he said that the order came from Kagame, and he said he's prepared to go to any court to actually answer charges of bringing down the plane. But he said that he's going to go there on condition that Kagame also gets there. And it was not only him, there's other generals, who's another one, I forget his name, but he's in the state. And he's come with the same thing.
Has Kagame ever admitted or hinted that he may have been involved?
Well, Kagame, he has not said anything, he denies it. But I mean, so it was a known thing. I mean to say that from Tanzania, I was in Tanzania at the time when the plane was brought down. But from intelligence circles in Tanzania, they said, no, that plane was brought down by the RPF.
There are even more damaging claims that the RPF could have... Clip there. Vincent Karega, the Rwandan ambassador to South Africa, joins us now from our studio in Pretoria. Ambassador, thank you for being with us. Your response, I believe you were concerned about what was discussed last night.
Thank you very much. My first comment is we pay as Rwanda homage to the passing on of Winnie Madikizela Mandela, Mama Africa, the liberation icon. It is true, as you said, we are remembering genocide that occurred in Rwanda 24 years ago. We also take the opportunity to celebrate the achievement in unity, reconciliation, and economic transformation of our people. I followed everything that the analyst Isaac Komo said on Rwanda. It is quite shocking to see that the African elite do no longer believe in the achievement of African by portraying the progress made in Rwanda as American or Western made, by portraying the cleaning of Rwanda as a feudal system that is working, meaning the country is still made of ethnic masters and another ethnic group that are servants, which is not true at all. Kagame stopped the genocide. It's well known. It is evidenced. The plane, nobody has ever proven how Kagame downed the plane. If General Nyamwasa, now a disgruntled, a justice fugitive person here in South Africa, confirms he downed the plane, he doesn't need to wait for President Kagame to go and confirm how he did it. The RPF, or the party led by President Kagame, only took over Kigali on the 4th of July, 94. And the plane was down on the 6th of April 94. The country was still fully, at least Kigali, in the hands of Habyarimana army. There were UN troops, French and Belgian troops. If those ones could not see, and Professor Isaac, a wheelchair analyst, unfortunately, who probably has never even been to Rwanda to research, and who is speaking as a partisan, not as a scientific person, a partisan who is really a spokesperson of General Disgruntled, the disgruntled General Nyamwasa here.
Can I
is very
stop you
shocking.
there? It's not only
during our remembering
Isaac Komo
time
who's speaking. There is a book, Judy Rivera, a Canadian author, has written a book in praise of blood, and she looks at a testimony from former Rwandan Patriotic Front members to a French inquiry in 2006, I understand, and to the international tribunals that were held in Rwanda itself. So surely, are you saying that these claims have never surfaced? Because this is ex-RPF members, also a Belgian officer that she spoke to. It's not only Isaac Komo here.
Do you also, you read one book, do you also read many books on the reality of genocide, the role of France, the crossing into Congo to create a safe haven for genocidaires? Even that tribunal in France, did you ever hear the conclusions of who downed the plane? And let's assume that plane was downed by anybody. Does that justify the killing of babies and mothers and everyone because a president has been downed?
No, of course
I think
not. Of
there's
course
a campaign,
of course
as you
not,
know.
but this points
Genocide
to the president's character. I think people are looking in, and economic transformation in Rwanda cannot be denied. There's been incredible cleaning up. There's been incredible technology advancements. Human rights, some organizations have said that he rules with a heavy hand, though. People are trying to understand your president. Do you get that?
I don't know what they want to understand. If they have facts at hand, they should bring facts. If they have court cases, they should bring court cases. But these mere campaigns, probably made by those who have never supported the liberation of Rwanda by President Kagame, cannot be the definition of Rwanda. And nobody can undermine the progress in governance rated well by Transparency, by the World Bank, by the World Economic Forum, by the UN, who have got more hands and more assessment in what happens in Rwanda than just mere gossip or news coming from genocidaires themselves or kind of rebellious or disgruntled people from the RPF itself. So facts are there to speak, not only socio-economic transformation, reconciliation as well. Rwanda in '94 had about 3 million people outside of Rwanda. Rwanda has returned more than 90% of its refugees. They all live in peace, side by side. The ethnic definition by the colonial is disappearing. People are believing in national values. There's no political party in Rwanda that is Hutu dominated or Tutsi dominated or women or religious dominated. The constitution does not allow for that. It is true when RPF started, it started with Tutsi refugees, but in the end it became a party with a national character. It has got branches, it has got cells, and it has been winning elections not just by Tutsis voting in. And we don't have any government, Tutsi-dominated government or parliament. We have an all-inclusive government institutions, business institutions, and things are there to check through land titles, bank accounts, businesses, and positions in government.
Ambassador.
And we don't give big importance on who is who in Rwanda in terms of ethnic.
Ambassador, I think we often look at the successes of Rwanda. That's clear. We are now talking about history. And I'd like you just to deal with all the claims, because that wasn't the only thing that came out last night. It's not the only claim being made by these former members of the RPF. The other claims are that he was not only involved in the planning of downing the plane, but there was a second genocide, that Hutus were hunted down and killed in the DRC. Also, that during the genocide, Paul Kagame did not help Tutsis who needed
those are
refuge.
mere lies. We cannot allow negationism. We cannot allow two genocide. One genocide was confirmed by the UN. It's the genocide against the Tutsis. Should you have proof and facts of a genocide against the Hutus, then you should bring them to book. People who committed that. There were these tendencies, these rumors. Definitely people who committed genocide are not quiet. They must defend themselves, they must talk, they must create this theory. So what stopped the second genocide, and where are the victims buried, and where are the orphans of the so-called genocide, and how do we have 12 million people, or if there was a second genocide, when the people of Rwanda by then was only 7 million people.
Ambassador, finally, if we come back to today, and thank you for being willing to respond to the claims. We offer this right of reply. That's all we can do. 99% of the vote, though, that's what he got in a democratic election. Do you expect the rest of Africa to believe that that is plausible, that that is what's happening in a free democratic country?
We are not managing our country to impress any African country or any European country. We have a country with history. We have a country that we manage our way. It is our right to define democracy within our context, within our constitution. And the people of Rwanda are happy with what has happened. So we didn't do it to promote a model, to sell it to anyone. However, our country is reducing poverty, our country is safe, our country is clean, our country is moving from low income to middle income. So whoever has got a problem with that, because we are not a copy-paste of anyone, can also make their case. But we are happy, we own our model.
The question is, are Rwandans free to vote against the president? As they should be in a democracy.
They are very free to vote against the president. If he got 98, then it means 2% did not vote against him. The president, there were 3 candidates, so the 2% went to the other 2 candidates. So even though it is 2, it means those who did not want, they didn't want. And those who did not want to go to vote stayed home.
Finally, Ambassador, while I have you, very quickly, how will Rwanda be marking the genocide? I believe it's an ongoing process of mourning right now.
We have a theme that we call Remembering, Unite, and Renew. We have a strong belief that it should not happen again in Rwanda or elsewhere. Unity is a core pillar of our vision and focus, and renew means we must develop in an inclusive manner to change the living conditions of Rwandans of all walks, men and women, Hutus and Tutsis, and Tuas, and naturalized Rwandans.
All right, thank you very much. That was Rwanda's ambassador in South Africa, Vincent Karega.